Welcome to Easy Math TV. We're going to be starting a new topic in the time value of money series. This one's going to be on annuities or things that behave like annuities. Our first series of videos is basically going to be anything that we can pretend or can treat like an annuity. We're going to be doing that in on this sheet, on this same exact sheet. So there's going to be 5 videos in this series because we're going to do several examples. And it's important that we set up our spreadsheet properly because I'm going to be referring a lot to the different cell references that everything is in. So let's go over that really quickly right now. In column A, we want to put the interest rate in column A. So go ahead and set that up yourself. And in a moment, I'm going to have you pause the video and just make sure that your spreadsheet is set up the way it should be. Column B is going to be our time in years. Column C is going to be our number of payments per year. And that's also the compounding periods per year. So that's important when we're talking about annuities, is that the number of payments is also equal to the number of compounding periods. That's our value K. And then in column D, because we're going to need this for some of our calculations, that's our total number of periods, which is basically going to be K times T. So we can see the formula there in cell D4. It's equal to B4 times C4 because that's our value of K times time. That's the total number of payments we're going to be making. Okay. And then in column E, and that's why I have it shaded in blue. And then column E is also shaded in blue because that's another formula. It's equal to the interest rate, which is an annual interest rate, divided by K. So it equals A4 divided by C4, and that's going to be our periodic interest rate, which we're going to need in some of our formulas as well. So again, that's those two cells in columns D and E are highlighted in blue because of the fact that they have formulas in them, so we don't want those to change at all. Anything that's highlighted in gold is going to be numbers that we provide, depending on what situation we're dealing with. So column F is going to be, that's going to be reserved for our payment. So like, what is our regular payment going to be? Column G is our present value. Column H is our future value. And then column I will be our interest amount if we need it. Typically we don't, but that's there anyway, because sometimes, you may be curious about that, or it might be given to you in the problem. Okay, so depending on what you're given in the problem, we've got a place for everything here. All right. So go ahead and pause the video. Go ahead and get this top part of your sheet set up, and also get ready to put in these quantities down here in rows 6 and 7 as well. Welcome back. Today we're going to solve a particular problem here, and that's going to involve 2 formulas down here in row 7. So row 7 is going to be where all of our meaningful calculations are going to take place. Any calculation that we need to answer the problem is going to be done down here in row 7. So this problem that we're solving, suppose that you want to have $300,000 in retirement in 20 years, and your account earns 8% interest. How much do you need to deposit each month, and how much interest will you earn? So that's 2 questions, and we're going to need 2 formulas for that. So one of the things it's asking for is, what is our regular payment going to be? In other words, how much are we depositing each month? So it's asking for that, and it's asking for the interest amount. Okay? So without actually explaining a lot about where these are coming from, to get your regular payment, it's equals PMT, so that's Paul, Mary, Tango, parenthesis, equals PMT, parenthesis, And then the first thing that it needs is the rate, which we're getting from E4, not A4. So it's E4, comma, and then the number of periods is in D4. That's the total number of periods, D4, comma. Then it needs the present value, that's in G4. And then it needs the future value turned into a negative. So we need to make it negative H4, and then a comma, and then close parenthesis. So again, that's equals payment, or PMT, parenthesis, E4, comma, D4, comma, G4, comma, negative H4, and then a comma, and then close parenthesis. And that's in cell F7. That's going to give us our regular payment. To get our interest amount, we go over here to column I, and in I7, not in I4, because we're going to copy the number in there if we get the value. In I7, we're going to type equals, and it starts with the future value H4, and we want to subtract the total of all of our payments and subtract the present value. So that's equals H4 minus D4 times F4 minus G4. So that's that thing in the middle there. That's the total of all of our payments, because you take your regular payment amount and you multiply it by the number of payments, which is the number of periods. And that gives you all of the payments that you make. So that has to be subtracted, because that cannot count towards interest. That's not part of our interest. That's part of what we're putting in. Okay? So now we can go ahead and answer the question by putting in the numbers that we need. So we need an 8% interest rate in column A. And our future value over here needs to be 300,000. And let's just look. So the time in years is 20. And the number of payments per year, is that equal to 12? Well, it says each month. So yes. So our interest rate is 8%. Time in years is 20. Number of payments per year is 12. And the present value we're assuming is 0. So we don't have anything to start with. We're just going to be making regular payments. Okay, so right off the bat, we have our regular payment. There's our answer there. So we need to put that down here as our answer. So that's going to be 509.32. Okay, so that's that. But we also need to know how much interest. And right now the interest amount is not correct, because we haven't copied the regular payment from the calculated value down here up into cell F4. So we're going to do that. 509.32. Hit enter. There's our regular payment. And now our interest amount has been calculated. So our total interest is going to be $177,763.20. So $177,000, 763. Yeah, $177,763.20. So that answers our first question, and we've got our regular payment formula in, and we have our interest amount formula in. Next time we'll get a couple more of these formulas in. So see you in the next video.